failing miserably while taking off to making horrible landings, these are some of the most dramatic helicopter failures caught on camera. This video just shows how quickly things can escalate into a disaster. You can see how casually a man coming from the right side of the screen approaches a helicopter that's about to take off. But then a second helicopter also arrives at the pad to land. As it came close to landing, it moved a bit too close to the first helicopter, and the disaster struck. The rotor blades of both aircraft collided with each other, destroying everything. Just take a look at this beautiful, small orange helicopter that's going way too fast while taking off. It's surprising how this incident didn't turn out to be fatal, considering how many people were around when this helicopter came crashing down with its blades acting as a blender. To give you a synopsis of how this event occurred, the construction aircraft was helping to assemble a massive Christmas tree. But as it was lifting up, one of its blades got entangled with the cables surrounding the area. This mistake caused the helicopter to completely lose control and nearly hit all the construction workers on the ground. This is quite a recent tragedy that shocked the entire world when, on April 10th, 2025, a Bell 206 Long Ranger 4 helicopter crashed into the Hudson River near Jersey City. It was carrying 6 passengers, including a pilot and a family from Spain, all of whom, unfortunately, lost their lives in this tragic incident. Top Gear always likes to pull off crazy stunts, but we can all agree this time that they crossed the line. Just see how they've decided to conduct a race between a car and a military helicopter. No doubt, a very thrilling idea that not only sounds good, but looks good while in action. Throughout the race, the car dominated the helicopter, but as everything was coming to a conclusion, something truly unexpected happened. The helicopter crashed while taking a U-turn, resulting in complete destruction. Everyone went silent, as what was supposed to be fun and thrilling had now become a life-or-death situation. But thankfully, nobody was seriously injured. Now this is one of those idiotic moments that just makes you smell the danger from miles away. Just look how a literal police helicopter tries to take off from such an unstable platform with tires as a maintenance checkup procedure. Well, what happened was exactly what we expected. The takeoff was a failure, and the blades hit the ground, likely causing damage to nearby vehicles as well as to the helicopter itself. The pilot suffered serious injuries, but thankfully survived the incident. See the pilot trying to take off, but as he's doing that, the backside of the aircraft lifts off from the ground first, nearly resulting in the blades touching the ground. But fortunately, it didn't happen, or else it would have not only resulted in the loss of a helicopter, but also the plane in front. Imagine driving down the highway and suddenly something crashes into you. Well, it's obvious to think it's another car, right? But nope, for this guy, it was a freaking aircraft. Thankfully, except for massive confusion and shock, nobody suffered any injuries. This cell phone camera captured the exact moment when the helicopter crashed in Rowlett, Texas. In the video, you can see how the pilot lost control of the aircraft and couldn't stop it from spinning rapidly mid-air. This happened mainly because parts of the aircraft broke off during the flight, and it only got worse from that point onward, resulting in a devastating crash, causing the death of 2 people, the only ones on board. Here's yet another tragic footage captured by the spectators on the ground when a Broward Sheriff's Office fire rescue helicopter crashed into a Pompano Beach, Florida, apartment complex on August 28, 2023. The incident resulted in the deaths of 2 people, including Captain Terrison Jackson, on board, and a woman inside the apartment. It all happened when the aircraft was en route to respond to a medical call and caught fire mid-flight, specifically in the tailboom area, as you can see in the video. This caused the aircraft to spin out of control before crashing through the roof, killing the lady inside. Surprisingly, 2 crew members who were also on board survived this fatal crash with only minor injuries. The Mount Hood rescue helicopter incident on May 30th, 2002 is by far one of the most memorable moments in aviation history, and it's definitely not for good reasons. The incident happened during a mission where an Air Force Reserve Command's Pave Hawk helicopter was supposed to airlift a critically injured climber from a snowy mountain. But this rescue mission was going to only make things worse, as the helicopter suddenly lost lift due to a rapid and dangerous wind shift. This caused the aircraft to lose its stability and reach an unsafe level of altitude. Remarkably, no one was killed in the crash despite serious injuries, thanks to the cushioning effect of soft snow. This police officer was patrolling the roads in Washington state, but instead of spotting any criminal activity or traffic violation, his dashcam caught sight of a literal aeroplane landing on the busy highway. The officer was dumbfounded and quickly took a U-turn to follow the plane. The plane makes an emergency landing and even wobbles severely while doing so, but fortunately, it doesn't hit any nearby vehicles. Finally, near the traffic lights, it stopped, and the pilot opened up the hood and got out. But the hilarious part is how he and the officer both pushed the aeroplane off the road to clear the way. Here's yet another jaw-dropping incident that leaves you wondering what just happened. This camera captured an Augusta-Westland AW-169 helicopter ready for a training session. But as its blades were just starting to move and picking up speed, something unimaginable occurred. The pilot moved the aircraft slightly forward, but as he was about to make a turn, the helicopter started spinning in circles at a rapid speed. The right side of the plane started to tilt, and eventually, the blades hit the concrete, causing the debris to fly everywhere. One of the parts of the blade nearly hit a bystander, but fortunately, he avoided it, or else that would have been his last day on Earth. A few years ago, in Afghanistan, this helicopter pilot was showing off his skills in an Apache helicopter.
Oh God.
This next video is proof of why helicopters are not built to fly over snow. Everyone in the ski resort went into shock as none of them expected such a devastating outcome. This is yet another tragic incident that occurred on November 12, 2022, during the Wings Over Dallas Air Show at Dallas Executive Airport. The incident involved 2 historical planes, a B-17 Flying Fortress and a Bell P-63 King Cobra, and due to a failure to understand the instructions, both aircraft collided mid-air, killing all 6 people aboard both planes. This helicopter came crashing down in water near Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, after experiencing engine failure. The camera captured those very moments from very up close when this Bell 206 helicopter, carrying 5 people, fell into the water about 20 feet offshore, close to the USS Arizona Memorial. According to bystanders, the aircraft was flying normally, but suddenly lost all its power and crashed. But thanks to the pilot's quick thinking, he initiated an emergency auto-rotation landing, an act that saved the lives of everyone on board. This headcam footage shows a group of skydivers getting ready to jump out of the plane. But as they were about to do it, the plane they were in came crashing down into another plane, also carrying skydivers. This collision resulted in a massive impact, causing most of the passengers to fall out while the plane erupted in flames. But thankfully, everyone was wearing a parachute, including the pilots, which is why, even after such an accident, nobody lost their lives that day. The footage shows a passenger airplane about to land at the airport on January 29, 2025, and on the very left, you can see a military helicopter also approaching. At first, it seems as though the distance between them is quite massive, but that's not the case, as the helicopters soon collide with that plane, resulting in a massive explosion. This incident took the lives of 67 people on both aircraft, and it's believed the Black Hawk helicopter that was conducting a night training mission deviated from its path and caused that collision. Here's another chilling moment when a helicopter came crashing down on a crowded beach in Miami. You can see in the video how a Robinson R-44 helicopter camera from the right side of the screen slowly descends due to engine failure. The aircraft then lands right in the water, quite close to the people, but thankfully, no fatalities occurred, with only 2 people being injured and rushed to the hospital. Here's another takeoff failure, but this time it happened on the Rooftop helipad of a hospital in Kathmandu. It was a 9NALR helicopter which was there to transport a medical team. But when the pilot started the engine, the aircraft started spinning uncontrollably. The pilot did everything he could to calm the beast down, but it kept spinning until it moved way over to the edge and fell 10 feet below the pad. You know, when they say the cameraman never dies, I guess they tell the truth, because this cameraman could have been sliced in half, but luckily he didn't. This tourist in Fiji was making a video of this helicopter that was carrying 7 passengers in total and was about to land. But as it was about to touch down, a strong gust of wind pushed the aircraft with it, causing it to go straight for the cameraman, but hitting the trees before it could reach him. Now this is why you should always analyze the environment before making a move. This firefighter helicopter needed a water source immediately to fight a fire on a nearby mountain in Spain. When the pilot spots a pool nearby, he goes right for it. But little did he know, there was a massive fence behind it that he ignored completely. The tail of the helicopter touches that fence, and the entire aircraft goes out of control, putting the lives of not only the pilot, but also all the bystanders in danger. There goes firefighting, because the pilot is the one who needs to be saved now. I feel like these military aircraft pilots are determined to make their country bankrupt. How can anyone make such a massive mistake? This group inside this helicopter is extremely lucky to have survived such a devastating crash with little to no injuries. In the video, you can see them flying over snowy mountains at Bear Creek Lodge when their AS-350BA helicopter suddenly loses control. It felt as if all the power the blades were generating just vanished, causing the helicopter to crash on the mountain. Thankfully, the snow allowed the impact to be way less dangerous, saving everyone on board. Student pilots make a lot of mistakes, but they're still nowhere near the level of the mistake made by this one while trying to land on the runway with a Cessna 172M. In the video, you can see how the student pilot makes a very risky landing, causing the plane to slide off the path and start moving in the wrong direction. Now, instead of losing speed, the plane was in full motion and flew straight into a nearby building and eventually crashed into it. The plane was fully wrecked, but surprisingly, the pilot remained safe. You can see in this video a helicopter flying over this runway, but as it passes through and goes pretty far away, another small aircraft enters the scene. Now here's the interesting part. The aircraft gets caught in wake turbulence created by the helicopter. This causes the plane to crash. Now that's an indirect way of causing accidents, making it almost seem like the Force from Star Wars. Wildfires are dangerous, but a plane trying to extinguish the fire is even more dangerous, like this C-1 Hercules, whose wings fall off soon after spraying the water in the burning forest. Dennis Kenyon, aka the legend in the helicopter community, is also someone who has experienced helicopter crashes, like during his performance at West Desert Air Park in Utah. Initially, everything seemed fine. Heck, he even made several turns and showcased dangerous stunts, all of which were carried out smoothly by Dennis. But only a few seconds in the video, the disaster struck, as after performing a backflip with his helicopter, Dennis tried to make a landing, but maybe he made an error in controlling the speed, which caused the aircraft to smash onto the ground. This shocked everyone, and someone even shouted to call 911. But thankfully, even after such a terrifying crash, Dennis walked out unhurt. Now this is some reckless driving, reckless flying. Maybe this pilot watches a lot of action movies. Maybe that's why he decided to make such a risky landing, which could have gone beyond worse if it wasn't for the auto-rotation. A rescue helicopter from the Phoenix Fire Department was dispatched to airlift a 74-year-old hiker injured at Pistewa Peak. Everything seemed fine at first, as the crew secured her to the stretcher. But the moment she was lifted off the ground, things took a horrifying turn. The stretcher began spinning rapidly, almost uncontrollably. That's the last thing anyone would want after getting injured. The crew desperately tried to stabilize her, and after gaining a bit more altitude, rescuers managed to get the spin under control. I can't imagine dizziness in that moment. The pilot then made a safe landing, and miraculously, the woman survived the event and received the medical care she needed. This is another similar incident like I showed you before, where the helicopter indirectly caused the crash of another aircraft. This time, it was a Black Hawk helicopter that flew over the runway, leaving an invisible stream of turbulence behind. But unfortunately, a small plane got caught in that turbulence and crashed immediately into the nearby dirt. Maybe they should learn to wait for at least a few seconds before flying a plane on the same route a helicopter has just passed by. This Mexican Navy helicopter was on its way to rescue people in areas affected by a recent hurricane. But looks like the one that needs to be rescued is the pilot, because soon after takeoff, the pilot lost control and made a crash landing on a nearby road. The worst part is that it nearly crushed the nearby bus, but thankfully, it was only able to graze its backside, and the driver managed to escape. This medical helicopter pilot got caught in a pretty sticky situation while flying over Weld County, Colorado, when an idiot decided to point his laser towards the helicopter. This act led to temporary blindness for the pilot, causing him to make an emergency landing. But fortunately, before he did that, he was able to locate the culprit. The police were able to arrest the laser pointer and teach him a lesson. It's worth knowing that pointing a laser at a helicopter or any other aircraft is extremely dangerous. Here's yet another tragic incident that happened during the Aviadarts air show, but this time it involved 4 military aeroplanes performing stunts in the sky. The Mi-28 attack helicopter in the middle pulled off a successful stunt like the other helicopters, but unfortunately, soon after that, it came crashing down while spinning and hit the ground, creating a cloud of dust around it. It then erupted in flames, which resulted in the death of the pilot, but luckily, the co-pilot survived this horrific accident. The helicopter crashed almost 170 kilometers southeast of Moscow, and to this day, it has remained a dark memory in aviation society. This is a video captured by a spectator in Grenchen, Switzerland, when a red-colored helicopter was about to land among many gorgeous-looking aeroplanes. But it seems like the pilot knew how to fly a helicopter and forgot to take classes on how to land it properly. Because as he tried to make the landing, the helicopter tilted a bit sideways, causing it to suddenly flip over and slam into the ground, sending debris flying in the air. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel to see similar existing content in the future.